The Los Angeles Dodgers extended their homestand with a thrilling 6-3 victory over the San Diego Padres. A game marked not only by impressive offensive moments, but also by a tense confrontation that captured the attention of everyone watching. The turning point came in the fourth inning, a frame that exploded with energy and emotion, highlighted by a fierce stare-down between Dodgers outfielder Enny Pages and Padres pitcher Dylan Cease. The tension began shortly after Max Muncy delivered a crucial two-run single, putting the Dodgers ahead for the first time in the game and igniting their momentum. Pages, who had just doubled earlier, found himself in a heated moment when Cease threw a fastball clocked at nearly 98 miles per hour, striking him on the left arm. The hit was sudden and powerful, and it prompted Pages to immediately lock eyes with Cease and gesture in his direction, signaling his belief that the pitch was not an accident but a deliberate act. The intensity of the moment nearly spilled over, as both teams were on the verge of clearing their benches, an occurrence that in baseball typically signals a brewing brawl or serious dispute. However, cooler heads prevailed, and the confrontation diffused without escalating into physical altercation, allowing the game to proceed shortly thereafter. The Dodgers capitalized on this charged atmosphere, pushing through with a 5-run inning that turned the tide decisively in their favor. Pages himself would eventually cross home plate, contributing to the scoring surge that ultimately secured the Dodgers' lead and eventual win. The combination of competitive fire and skill displayed in that inning underscored how pivotal moments like these can shift the momentum of a game. In the post-game interview, Pages shed light on his perspective regarding the hit by pitch, expressing his belief that the incident was intentional. He explained that the Padres appeared to think he was relaying signals to his teammates from second base after his double in the third inning, a tactic that teams watch for closely and sometimes respond to aggressively. Pages mentioned that his movements at second base, where he was jumping and seemingly sending signs, might have triggered suspicion from the Padres' side. He pointed out that it was difficult to accept Cease's fastball missing its intended location, especially considering that a slider, which is a pitch notoriously hard to control, was not the one missed. Instead, it was a fastball, thrown in the strike zone inside, that Cease failed to hit properly, which to Pages seemed unlikely to be a mere mistake, despite his initial reaction and belief. Pages openly admitted that he overreacted to the situation, acknowledging that his response was fueled by adrenaline rather than clear judgment. He also shared that he tried to communicate this to Cease afterward, clarifying that sometimes in the heat of the moment players can misinterpret actions and react instinctively rather than logically. His willingness to address the misunderstanding directly with Cease highlights the respect players maintain for one another, despite the high-stakes emotions that come with competitive play. The fact that Cease had been cruising comfortably through the game before that inning made it understandable why Pages might have thought the hit by pitch was purposeful, but the game situation itself suggested otherwise. At the time of the incident, the Padres were only trailing by 1 run, a margin that certainly would discourage a pitcher from intentionally putting a runner on base by hitting him with a pitch, especially with the top of the Dodgers lineup due up next. It would have been a risky and counterproductive move for Cease to willingly offer the Dodgers an extra base runner. This tactical consideration supports the idea that the pitch was more likely an unfortunate accident born out of frustration or loss of control, rather than a deliberate attempt to intimidate or injure. From Page's standpoint, the frustration likely came from being hit hard by a fastball in the upper 90s, a pitch velocity that is intimidating by itself, which can rattle even the most composed hitters. Fortunately, both teams seemed to move on from the incident relatively quickly, preventing what could have turned into a prolonged conflict that might overshadow the game's competitive spirit. The Dodgers manager, Dave Roberts, weighed in on the situation with a perspective that aligned more with the idea of a non-intentional hit. He acknowledged that no one enjoys getting hit by a pitch, especially when it comes at a speed close to 100 miles per hour, but expressed doubt that Cease's action was intentional. Roberts suggested that Page's reaction was more a product of frustration than any real attempt by the Padres pitcher to send a message or disrupt the Dodgers' momentum. His comment that the tension got diffused quickly speaks to the professionalism and self-control present in both teams, even amid moments of high stakes and emotions running high. What makes this episode particularly interesting is how it highlights the psychological aspects of baseball, how split-second decisions and perceived intentions can ignite intense reactions on the field. Players must constantly navigate not only their own performance, but also the unspoken codes of conduct and the potential for misunderstandings that arise from aggressive play. The dynamic between Pages and Cease exemplifies this delicate balance, where a single pitch can become a flashpoint for conflict, or an opportunity to demonstrate resilience and sportsmanship. The aftermath, where Pages reflected openly on his overreaction and attempted to clear the air, shows a maturity that is sometimes overshadowed in the heat of competition. Looking back at the game as a whole, it is clear that the Dodgers managed to harness their energy and channel it into productive offense following that intense fourth inning. The combination of key hits, timely runs, and focused defense contributed to their ability to hold off the Padres and secure a valuable win on their home turf. Moments like the one involving Pages and Cease add layers of drama and intrigue to baseball, reminding fans why the sport is as much about mental toughness and emotional control as it is about physical skill. The game left an impression not only for the final score, but for the narrative of confrontation and resolution that unfolded within those 9 innings. The unfolding tension between Andy Pages and Dylan Cease encapsulated much more than a simple hit-by-pitch incident. It highlighted the complex psychology and strategic chess match that unfolds within every baseball game. As the game progressed, it became evident that while the emotions were raw in the moment, both teams understood the bigger picture. Winning the game required focus and cohesion rather than distractions. Andy Page's willingness to address the situation post-game, admitting to an adrenaline-fueled overreaction, offered a glimpse into the intense mental battles players face. Beyond the physical challenge of facing high-velocity pitches, Page's candid reflection that he reacted instinctively but sought to clarify with Cease afterward exemplifies the professionalism and respect that exists beneath the fiery surface of competitive baseball. It shows that players are not just athletes, but also human beings managing pressure, expectations, and split-second judgments. Dylan Cease, who until that pivotal moment had been in complete command on the mound, displayed remarkable poise in the aftermath. Despite being the subject of Page's accusations, Cease maintained his composure, continuing to pitch effectively and contribute to the Padres' efforts. His ability to stay calm under fire speaks volumes about his mental toughness and focus. From a tactical standpoint, Cease had little incentive to intentionally hit a batter at that stage of the game, trailing by a single run with dangerous hitters coming up in the Dodgers lineup. It would have been counterproductive to put an extra runner on base and risk handing momentum to the home team. This strategic consideration reinforces the idea that the hit-by-pitch was more likely a misplaced pitch rather than a deliberate tactic to unsettle the opposition. The interaction between Pages and Cease also underlines how baseball is as much a mental game as it is a physical one. Players and coaches constantly read into body language, reactions, and in-game events, often interpreting intentions behind every move. Suspicion about relayed signs, for example, is a common theme in baseball lore and can lead to heightened tensions. Page's belief that the Padres thought he was sending signs added fuel to the fire, showing how paranoia and competitive suspicion can influence players' perceptions. Yet, the quick resolution and the absence of an actual brawl demonstrate how these moments, while intense, are usually contained by mutual respect and an understanding of the sport's unwritten rules. But before we move forward, don't forget to join our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest news about the Los Angeles Dodgers. We'd love to hear your thoughts on the news, so drop a comment below. There's a growing buzz swirling around the Los Angeles Dodgers, and it seems none other than former MLB star Steve Garvey has stepped into the ring with some pointed criticism. While Garvey's name might bring back memories of the Dodgers' glory days, his recent comments have stirred up a fresh wave of speculation about the team's current state and future direction. Garvey, known for his steady presence during his time with the Dodgers, apparently hasn't been shy about voicing concerns regarding how the franchise is operating today. Although the former first baseman hasn't detailed everything publicly, insiders say his critique touches on the team's strategy, player performance, and management decisions. This has sparked whispers throughout the baseball community that the Dodgers might be at a crossroads, potentially struggling to replicate their past dominance. Rumors suggest that Garvey's remarks hint at deeper issues within the clubhouse, possibly involving chemistry or leadership challenges. There's talk among fans and analysts alike that these concerns could influence the Dodgers' approach to the upcoming season. Whether it means tweaking their roster or making bold moves in the trade market, speculation is rife that Garvey might be indirectly urging the team's front office to reconsider some of their recent choices, especially in how they develop young talent or manage star players. The timing of Garvey's comments has only fueled the chatter, coming off a season that didn't quite meet the lofty expectations set for the Dodgers. His words have been interpreted by some as a warning sign. Could this be a signal that change is imminent? Some insiders believe that the Dodgers might be preparing for a shakeup behind the scenes, motivated by the need to address the very issues Garvey highlighted. Of course, it's all conjecture at this stage, and the Dodgers organization has yet to respond publicly to Garvey's critiques. Still, the former player's perspective has sparked an important conversation among fans and experts, one that revolves around whether the team can maintain its elite status, or if they're heading toward a period of rebuilding. Whatever the truth may be, the Dodgers find themselves under a spotlight again, with Garvey's voice adding fuel to the fire of speculation. Will the Dodgers heed this veteran's advice and make significant adjustments? Or will they double down on their current path, confident that their strategy will lead them back to the top? As the offseason progresses, all eyes will be on Los Angeles, waiting to see how this story unfolds. That's all for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay up to date with exclusive news about the Los Angeles Dodgers, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We always appreciate your comments and feedback. See you in the next video.